Okay guys, so in this video we are going to look through leaving a channel, so let's get into it. So if I open a direct message here and I have two different direct messages here. Now you'll see that I have this leave button up here. So if I click that, I get redirected to the general channel. But the general channel doesn't have a leave button because I don't want to be able to leave that specific channel. And if I hit the X here, the same thing happens. I go to the general channel. And if I have multiple direct messages open, I can remove one of them, but I still stay put in the active channel without leaving it. Okay, so let's have a look at how that works. So first and foremost, we've added a socket message, which is leave, where we will simply leave the specified channel. Easy peasy. And then we have a new method on our channel service, which is called leave channel. And I've also updated the create channels method, because what we want to do now is that since we have the option of leaving a channel, if I now go and leave that channel and then I want to recreate it again, then I don't, I need to have a little bit of a think about how to handle that. Because what I want to do now is that I want to check if the channel already is already there. If there is no channel, then I'm creating it for the first time. But if there is a channel, then I want to check if the user is trying to create this channel is already in the channel. If that user is already in the channel, we will simply return the channel. But if they're not, then we want to add them to the channel. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And then we have this leave channels function, which is you grab the channel, you filter out the you just keep all the users that are not the user that you're trying to leave or you're trying to pull out of that channel, and then we reset the users in channel to the filtered list, and then we save that. Cool. So then we have the socket channel. So one thing we need to think about now is that it used to be the case that you could only join a channel once, and then you were part of that channel, right? But now it's possible to join and leave and join and leave and so forth and back and forth. So when we do that, we don't want the user who is getting a new connection or for a new direct message to get a bunch of list elements in their UI. So that's why we want to check when somebody tries to create a direct message connection to us if we already have that channel in our array of channels, because if we do already have that, there's no point in updating the list, so we simply return. Otherwise everything works as normal, where we simply add that new channel to our list. And then the header has gotten a little bit of an update as well, as we can see here. Quite a few things have changed here, so let's just walk through it. So leave channel is just the event that fires when we actually click on this button, the leave button, as you can see here. So we have a on-click handler for leave channel here, basically. And what's going to happen now is that we are going to get the selected channel, the ID of that channel, and then we're going to call the network and go and say, hey, leave this channel. Then we go through all of these channels that we have, and we basically just check if we find the channel that has the name of general. And when we find that channel, because we are always going to have that, then we emit the leave event for our socket. And finally, we just redirect the user to the channel's route. And that's about it, really. And when somebody sets a new channel, we will clear all of the classes from this button here, the leave button. And then we're going to call this thing here get leave class, and that's basically just going to check if, hey, if we are on the general channel, return like a version of our CSS selector or a CSS class that just hides that button. Otherwise we will have a base class that has all the styling but is showing the button. So I hope that makes sense. If we're on general, we want to hide the button, otherwise we want to show it. And then basically just add that class to this leave button here. Here are the styles that do this. As you can see here, some base styling, and then hide is also going to have display none. Right, and then I did a little bit of an update here, just a small rename on the list, like the click handler for these list elements here, so that it's consistent with the other stuff. Right, then we have the direct messages list, and this takes a little bit of more looking into, I think. So basically, it's the same principle here. So leaving a channel from the direct messages it's a slightly a bit more elaborate because just let's walk through it. So when we click one of the list elements in the direct messages list, we will take in a channel ID. Because remember, we can click any, like it could be that this is our selected channel right now, but if I click this thing here, I need to be able to leave another channel that I'm not on, that's not my active channel, and that's what's coming in here. So then we leave the channel, we go to the network and we simply leave, and then we emit the leave event over the socket. We get the current channel ID, and then we check if the channel ID we just left is the same as the current selected channel. Well, then we're going to go through the same process as earlier. We're simply going to grab the general channel and redirect the user to that route. But otherwise, we're going to grab the user, we're going to go to the network and get all the channels that we are now part of, and then we're simply going to map them over to a channels array. And then we're going to grab the selected channel, which is the one that we're on. We're going to set all of those channels, and then we're going to reset that channel to be the selected channel so that we still have that highlighted state when we because remember, we will remove all the elements in the list really, really quickly, and then we're going to repopulate it with the new elements, and then we want to reset our selected channel to the channel that we are on again, so that we have that nice green highlight. And here is our new network call, which is just leave channel, which is just going to go to hey /leave instead of /join. And on the server, we have made a few updates where, as we stated earlier, create channel now also takes the user ID from the session, so that we can know, like as I said earlier, if the channel already exists, we check if this user already is in that channel. If they're not, we add them in. And finally, we have the leave endpoint, which is going to just be very similar to joining. Just call leave channel with user ID and the channel ID. And that's all the functionality we need. So we are going to move this over to ready for test. And next up is edit messages.